This is a pretty interesting article. It just came out within the last 24 hours. It's out of Forbes, and today is Monday, 11/21/2011. So it's November 21st today, Monday. They're talking about the top tenth of a 1% of the nation versus the top 1%. And I personally don't see how protesting is going to actually make some kind of major impact, and it's going to turn into a disorganized mess. But I just want to interject right here. I think what Paul Drockton says about buying physical silver, you'll see on Endless Mountain, Brother John F. buy physical silver, etc., etc. That's your best protection as far as actually, and also fight the top tenth of a 1%, as some people call it. You know, when I'm looking at the top 1%, there's a heck of a lot of people actually in the 1% when you start thinking about it. And not even all the people in the top 1/10 of 1% are, bad people or all that type of stuff. But they're talking about the capital gains tax, and most of the money that the top 10th of 1% makes is due to capital gains, and it's a 15% capital gains tax. Now, although I don't like the disparity between the wealthiest and the poorest, taxing capital, I'd have to disagree with this article. That's going to actually be a very, very bad thing, and as far as, long-range output of the economy. Taxing capital is actually a bad thing, because where does it go to? It goes into the government, which pretty much wastes money like crazy. Actually, it's cutting taxes all the way across the board, cutting spending. But it is interesting that they point out that 315,000 individuals out of 315 million are making about half of all capital gains on the sale of shares, stocks or property after 1 year. So it has to be held for more than a year to be a capital gain. And these capital gains make up 60% of the income made by Forbes 400. Now, one reason you are holding physical silver is because it's a long-range play. And in most cases, people probably aren't going to be paying even a 15%. And you're going to be making a hell of a lot more of a capital gain than these folks are, because, as I pointed out before, and, drill it in there again, but you're talking about the total supply. The mining is 736 million ounces. The total supply in 2010 was over a billion ounces. But if you took all the ETFs and all the coins, you got 279 million ounces available for investment. So you're talking about 30%, right? Or 300 million ounces. Say it's 300 million ounces in 2011. Well, at $33, that's only $1 billion. $1 billion. So what happens when you have all these billionaires? They can't put their money in this stuff, and that's one advantage you have over them. And in most cases with silver, people aren't even going to be paying this 15% gains tax, as far as I know. I mean, that seems like what most people are trying to do. I mean, I got ETF, so I'm going to wind up having to pay it anyway. And I got physical, and I don't know how long I'm going to hold on to that. As far as I know, there could be total another government in play. I also wanted to point out, now, you're looking at wealth like Muammar Gaddafi, $200 billion. So what did I tell you? Like in a whole year, all the silver, if you took all the silver and all the ETFs that was going into ETFs and all the coins in the world, and nobody even got one coin, he could only take a 0.5% of his money and put it in silver. Now, I want to also point out something interesting about this, and maybe I'm going off subject, but why did we get rid of this guy? And this is the game they play. I'm not maybe laughing, but it's quite obvious right in your face. Gaddafi, 200 billion. Mubarak, from Egypt, 40 to 70 billion. Hussein, 2 billion. And the joke on here is like, if you think these numbers are accurate, you got to be really, your head's got to be in the sand. Ronald Reagan, $4 million, right? That's all he's worth. George W. Bush, 15 million. H.W. Bush, Herbert Bush, 20 million. with all the oil connections they got. That's why I say these numbers on these they print on a web are a bunch of garbage, a lot of times. Now, who do you think we're going after in some time in the future, right? King of Saudi, 21 billion. UAE, I can't even, Nayan, 18 billion. United Arab Emirates, again, 14 billion, right? And who else just resigned? Berlusconi, 9 billion. It's a power play, obviously, that's going on behind the scenes, And here's another one that's kind of, funny. Queen of the UK, 750 million. Like I say, these numbers that are published, they are so much BS. They really are. I found this interesting about Putin. December 21st, 2007. Putin's personal stake, a fortune worth at least 40 billion. Now, how much silver could he buy? Obviously, he's mainly in oil, and he sells the oil and pumps. He owns a lot of oil in the part of it, the major oil producers in Russia. Now, at 40 billion, that puts him as one of the wealthiest people in the entire world. I mean, that puts him right next to Bill Gates and Carlos Slim. And also in this article, he says some suggest that Putin would like to retire, but he's staying to protect Medvedev from the ex-KGB camp. I can't believe any of this stuff they put on here. And that actually is ridiculously untrue because I'm sure the ex-KGB camp is they're all business people. They are 100% business all the way. And Russia is loaded with billionaires. Even though the rest of the people are poor as all hell, and they don't even drive cars, and they can't even afford gasoline. These guys, they're loaded. They're loaded beyond belief. Looking at this Forbes list, Carlos Slim, 53 billion, William Gates, 53 billion, Warren Buffett, 47 billion. And, I could tell you on this list, there was actually some real errors on it in a way, and a couple names it's not even showing up on here, but their names should be on the top here, aren't here. So the real reality behind things, the real power, does not display itself. That's the only thing I know for a fact. The real power does not display itself. And if you look on the world's wealthiest, this is the world's wealthiest. Do you see Putin's name on here? Supposedly he's worth over at least 40 billion. His name isn't even on here, and this is published by Forbes. That's one reason I personally seen some things where you had, I'm not mentioning any names because they're not even on here, but people had €1 billion and it was verifiable in a CD, and that wasn't all their wealth. That was their liquid wealth. Billion, not million, billion euros on a CD. Now, those kind of people, they can't go into silver, so they're going to go on other things. A lot of times people go into real estate for that reason, because actually real estate, it could be a money generator, whereas like the metals, you got to wait till you sell them, that's what's going on. You got to wait, you got to hold on to them. Real estate could be an investment that turns out, for leasing. It could even be agricultural land. What's going to happen in the near-term future is food prices are going to go up a lot. Agricultural land might be worth a lot of money. You can lease the land to, farm producers and farmers and things like that. And just sitting back and collecting a check from them, and they're producing on a land a product that everybody has to have, food. So, but for the actual smallest investor, it's definitely smart to go into the physical silver, because as I pointed out, if you took in 2010, if you took all the silver that was available for ETFs and coins and stuff, it's not even $1 billion. And looking at, look at all these billions these people have in net worth. You add this up, I mean, you're talking trillions. When you start adding them all up, there's no way. It's an option that's not even available to them. So what they're going to try to do is screw you on prices on other things, like food and oil and stuff like that. And try to hammer down the common person's wealth, but and actually you start thinking about it, there isn't enough silver even around to go into the regular people's hands, and So, it's not going to be even a very good protection for most of the middle class. It's actually only be a protection for a small group of people who are smart enough to buy the stuff ahead of time. As far as today, it looks like the silver prices are down, and I don't know exactly what the reason is for this today. I'm going to research this and, probably post something later as to what exactly is going on. But I imagine it's the same old stuff with the euro, because the euro is down, the dollar's up. Every currency is down except for the dollar and the yen. Just want to point out about capital gains and stuff. Capital gains isn't the reason. Capital gains tax isn't something that should be an issue with the wealthy. The real problem is there is so much fraud, waste, and abuse in the government. It's beyond belief. Even in the Defense Department, there's a lot of garbage that goes on in there that's not anything to do with the defense of the nation. So as far as the 1% movement, I would just concentrate on buying silver. If you want to attack the freaking 1%, that's the way you're going to do it, because all these people on this list, no matter where they are, they all have these businesses, and guess what these businesses pretty much need? Silver. Like Gates, doesn't he sell computers? What does that need? Silver, right? I mean, even this Buffett, he's into oil production. Oil production requires silver. So all these people need silver to produce the money. And when they have this kind of money, you got to keep producing, or else it's going to get diminished very hard. And that's why sometimes there's some serious infighting between people, and that's why they're backstabbing the people in the Middle East right now. So, there's only so much room at the top. It's called the 10th of 1% because that means it's a 10th of 1%. It means it's an exclusive group. So, the competition is very tough, and a lot of people don't want to even try to be in it anyway. But stick with the silver, the physical silver, because actually in percentage gains, the regular people who do that are going to be making better percentage gains than these guys. I mean, this guy, Gates, he made 10% more. That'd be ridiculous, right? He's not going to make 80% more. A lot of people in silver are going to make 80% more in no time. It's an option that's not available for them. So keep it in perspective. Stick with the silver. And don't worry about these people, because I think 99% of the time people are given a lot of disinformation, and they have no idea who the people are in control anyway. I have an idea that this list is not correct, but I don't know what the list should be for certain.